Hello and welcome back to another episode of my MotoGP 20 career mode here in MotoGP, and here we are for the 19th and penultimate round of the season here for the Malaysian Grand Prix. So Marc Marquez then, if we look at the championship standings, has effectively wrapped up the championship. He's going to win it really regardless of what I do at the next round. Mathematically, of course, yes, it's still possible that I can win the championship, but 40 points in 2 races, it's just more of a when he wraps it up, not if. So we obviously have to be less than 25 points behind going into the final round of the season for us to have a chance at winning, which means we have to take 16 points off him in the next round, which is possible, I suppose, if he crashes or if he just doesn't finish very well. If he finishes 8th and I win, then we've still got a shot, because that just reverses what happened in the last episode. But we really do need him to have a terrible performance, but I just can't see it happening, to be honest. He's been unstoppable all season, and credit to him. Obviously, if we look at the Constructors' Championship, we've still got a pretty nice cushion back to Ducati, so as long as I have quite a good run here, and maybe at Valencia as well, although Valencia is going to be a tough one because the AI are ridiculous at Valencia. They always have been really good at Valencia, so it's very much possible we could lose it, but I think we've got it pretty secure, the second place in the Constructors' Championship. And if we look at the Teams' Championship then as well, 4th place, we've got that pretty much locked down. Petronas are not too far behind, but as of late, they've not been great. They had a bit of a resurgence at Phillip Island with Quartararo not getting a bad result, but I still beat Morbidelli, so they didn't gain that many points. And Oliveira brought us home a point for our team as well. In terms of the research and development, I don't think anything would finish in time for the end of the season, so I'm not going to bother starting any upgrades or anything like that. Well, actually, I might have a go at looking at the engine. I'll put on this engine upgrade, and we'll just stick every single staff member on it, because there's no point really doing anything. It's going to take 3 weeks, yeah, so it's not actually any faster when we put everybody on there. So it's going to take 3 weeks, so it will be done actually before the end of the year, but not the end of the season, unfortunately. But without any further ado then, we'll head straight into Malaysia, and I'll see you in qualifying 1. So typically, of course, I try and take solace in the previous episode in the fact that this is a good track for me, and it rains. And it rains the whole weekend, so it's rainy in this qualifying session, rainy in the next one, and wet track for the race. So that is absolutely delightful, because obviously we know the bike is... Well, we've not had a wet race since Brno, but the bike has been pretty bad in the rain this season. So if we have a look who's in this session with us then, so it's Morbidelli and Miller that I haven't gone through this time. Obviously it always seems to be the same 5, just 2 of those that don't actually get through in the session. The rest, Bagnaia, Mir, Spagro, Oliveira, Zarco, Rabat, Alex Marquez, Lecuona, Binder and Smith, they're always the ones that never get through. Since it's actually rainy and not wet track, we can actually go out and set times whenever we want in the session, and there'll actually be still pretty decent times at the end of the session. So we'll head out onto the track now, try and do some lap times. Hopefully we can carry some of the speed over that I have at Malaysia into the rain, but I just feel like it's not going to happen, unfortunately. So obviously it's a bit of a shame for the season to end like this. Obviously it's been a very up and down season. Mir does a 2:05 then as the fastest lap of the session so far. Obviously it's going to take a little bit of time for me to bed in. I probably should have put a bit more fuel in, because the tyres don't wear too much in the rain. It doesn't matter a massive amount. But yeah, so we had a pretty good start to the season, actually a really good start, and obviously we had an abysmal middle to the season. Then we sort of started to come back, looked like it was possible we could still win the championship, and then it ends sort of like this. Obviously the championship has basically gone out of our grasp. Mathematically it's still possible, but we are going to lose it at this round, I would say, unless Marquez crashes, of course. And we still have to basically win, even if he does crash, to just keep the championship alive, not to make it closer. But anyway, we're 84 thousandths away then, no, underneath in the first sector, so that's a good sign so far. So we brake for this corner, turn 4, that's horrible conditions on the front end there. The bike was sliding all over the place through that section. Now actually the AI aren't, well, they're not too bad in the rain, but they're not the best either. But this bike just doesn't suit the rain very well. It does feel a little bit better than perhaps it did at Brno or something like that. So we'll see at the end of this section then where it is. What's the time going to be? So we're 3/10 underneath Mir's time actually. So it already seems like we're a little bit more competitive than we were in the previous race at Phillip Island. So that's always a good sign. Hitting the brakes for the Michelin sign then into this hairpin. We've probably gone a little bit wide actually. Pretty good line there through turn 9. There's no power though. When I got on the power, that was quite strange. It felt like there was absolutely nothing when I got on the throttle. So into turn 11 then, running a little bit wide. So coming through the penultimate turn then, we're now 3/10 underneath. So we are actually going quite fast at this point here in this qualifying session. So that is very nice to see. But obviously the tyres probably will tumble still a little bit at the end of the session. Not as much as when you get wet track, but they definitely will go down a little bit. So we hit the brakes then for the last corner. We have been quite conservative at most of the corners on this lap. A few of them we've gone in a little bit deep, and it's not actually ended up being too bad. But we've broke quite early for most corners, so we could definitely take a bit of time off this. As we come up towards the line, what's the time going to be then? 7 tenths underneath, 2:05.0. I'm going to keep going. So we're 31 thousandths off my time in the first sector. So we're 6 tenths underneath the time then in the second sector, so we're finding some massive time here. So 9 tenths underneath, so we're finding even more time in this sector. Lecuona's just gone down as well. I think that's unfortunate for Iker Lecuona. So coming up towards the line then, how much are we going to take off the time now? 9 tenths of a second, so 2:04.0. So we basically took an entire second off the time there, and that was already currently fastest. So I think that should be pretty safe for us to go through, because we should be fastest by over a second. So yes, that was fast enough for us to go through, so that's quite nice to see that we've got some decent pace even though it is the rain. There definitely has been some times where we've been quite fast in the rain, like Assen qualifying, we were very fast in the rain there. Obviously Jerez qualifying, was Le Mans qualifying wet? I think it might have been. So there definitely has been some times where we've been fast in the rain, but as of late we'd struggled the last couple of times it rained, and in the races we've been struggling, so we'll have to obviously look for that in the race. But at the minute we've got some good qualifying pace, so hopefully we can try and put the bike on pole in this qualifying 2 session we're about to go into. But unfortunately Lecuona at the back and Oliveira in 11th, so my teammates not doing too well here at this circuit. But we'll head into qualifying 2 now anyway, and hopefully we can try and get pole position. I'd like to try and get a victory here, even though the championship's gone. I'd still like to try and get as many wins as I can. So here we go then. We've actually got very, very good tyre wear so far. Oh yeah, there's actually very, very few tyres to go on, so I'll actually just use the one set of fresh tyres. But to be honest, the soft tyres actually go really far. So if it was rainy in the race like this, I definitely would go soft I think. But unfortunately it's wet track in the race, so I'll have to go soft medium. But anyway, we'll head out onto the track now, and hopefully we can try and set a couple of decent laps right at the start of the session and go on pole position. So out of the last corner then, obviously we've got to wait for the tyres to heat up a little bit. That's why the second lap was so much faster. So 2:04.6 then for Valentino Rossi right near the start of this session. So it does seem like they're a little bit quicker in qualifying too, as you would expect, but hopefully we'll still be able to go fastest. So we're 10th underneath in the first sector, half a second under in the second sector. We're actually only personal best in that sector, so we lost so much time, 15 thousandths away from Rossi's time there. So I don't know how we lost so much through that third sector, considering we're about 4 tenths underneath. So we lost a good half a second in that sector alone. So coming up towards the line then, are we going to go fastest in this session? Yes, we do by 14 thousandths of a second, but I am going to keep going. We should be able to go a bit quicker with warmer tyres. So we're a tenth off in the first sector of my own time. 2 tenths down in the second sector, so we're going slower than previously. Now we're going nearly 3 tenths faster, so we actually didn't mess up the third sector this time. Must have just been really slow through it last time. So as we're going up towards the line then, what's the time going to be? 2:03, 2:04.1 there. So a tenth slower than we did in the first qualifying session. Head back to the pits, obviously, because we're almost out of fuel. And hopefully that will stay the top of the session. So yes, then that was good enough for pole position. 2 tenths ahead of Marquez, so typically he's pretty close to me. I thought he probably would be. He was down in about 7th place for most of the session, but he went and improved right at the end of the session then. So not really anything to comment on about the championship since he's basically already won it. So let's just go into the race, and we need to try and get the victory. So here we are then on the grid for the penultimate time this season. It's been a good season, I'll be honest. I know obviously I was saying earlier it's been pretty abysmal in places, but we're still second. We did half the season, of course, on an unupgraded bike, and we're actually second for that basically the entire time of that. So it's not been too bad. It's not been too bad of a season. So even though we are going to probably lose the championship here today, I think we can be proud of what we've done this season with the equipment we've had. But let's get into this race then. We need to try and win it. Well, we have to win it to actually, have a chance at winning the championship still. But I just want to win it regardless of what happens with Marquez. So let's get this race started. Let's try and get a good start. Maybe just try and pull away. So here we are then on pole position alongside Marc Marquez and Valentino Rossi, the 2 legends of the sport. So waiting for the lights to go out here at Malaysia. Lights out and away we go. Marquez could win another championship today, but I'm determined to try and stop him. He's had a great start. I'm squeezing him over to the right hand side towards the pit wall using that power mode 2 in the slipstream. Back around the outside, here comes Dovizioso. Out of nowhere we've cut in front of Marquez a little bit into the first corner. Dovizioso's taken the lead. We're on the curb. Oh, there goes Rins. Rins just dived at the inside of me. That kind of caught me off guard a little bit. Oh, Marquez is down! Marquez is down! He's lost the front! What has gone on there with Marquez? I don't know at all what's happened with Mark there. But oh, that's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Marquez has lost the front. I don't know who he's took with him. But this actually could give us an opportunity to bring that championship to Valencia. Obviously, it's still going to be very unlikely. But we've now just got to get past Andrea Dovizioso. And then after that, we've just got to try and pull away, which is obviously a lot easier said than done. Dovizioso sliding all over the place, so am I. So we're trying to close up to him as much as we can, but I'm not sure what happened with Marquez there. It was such a weird crash, but we're on the power anyway. I think it's just because I kind of forced him a little bit wide into the first corner by doing a stoppie, to be honest. I squeezed him to the right-hand side. That obviously cost us both time. Dovizioso got past us. But then as I went into the first corner, I was doing stoppies and struggling to get to stop, and I think he had to go wide. So around the outside of Dovizioso we go then, into the hairpin now. So once again doing some more stoppies, but we've taken the lead down. Marquez has hit the deck, so we've got to try and get away. I don't know if he's still in the race or whatever. We've got to act like he still is, and we've got to try and just win this race. So as we come up towards the line then at the end of this first lap, 7/10 ahead of Dovizioso, we've got to get my head down and go. Hopefully, well, it's unfortunate if it's going to be an easy win. That's going to be a bit of a boring race, but we really need it. So coming out the last corner then at the end of the second lap, the AI seems to be in a bit of a train, but we've broken away from it. Looks like the two Red Bull KTMs are battling if you look on the left-hand side of the screen. 2:04.4 then on that lap. 1 second clear of Dovizioso now. So as we come up towards the line then at the end of this third lap, what's the time going to be? 2:02.5. Pretty incredible stuff there then. We are going much quicker obviously every lap since the track is drying. I've not seen Marquez overtake anybody, so I think he actually might have retired from the race when he crashed. Because obviously it was only a slow crash, so he wouldn't have actually lost that much time. So he would definitely have been carving his way back through the pack by now if he was still in the race. So here we go then, coming towards the line at the end of this fourth lap then. 2:02.7, so not an improvement actually, but 3.5 seconds in the lead of Dovizioso now. So then this race has really taken a turn that I just did not expect at all. So we come into the final corner for the 5th time, about to start the penultimate lap. But yeah, this race, it's ended up in a completely different manner than I expected. I thought I'd probably pull away at the front like this, but I thought it'd be from Marquez. I didn't think Marquez would have ended up on the floor at the second corner. It looks basically certain that Mark would win the championship here, but I've actually managed to maybe take it to the next race. Mir doing the fastest lap, 2:02.4. That's pretty interesting then, so he must be... He's actually had a bit of a resurgence. He was pretty good in the last race. I think he was fighting with Crutchlow. I think he lost out, but he ended up beating me in the last race, and he's been pretty poor all season, so it's nice to see Jean Mir doing a little bit better. So Dovizioso then 4.4 seconds behind. We've gone a little bit wide into turn 4, so lots of force. The number 4 behind us as well, so lots and lots of 4s. But yeah, Marquez, I thought he was going to win this championship at this round guaranteed, because basically this had to happen. He had to crash and I had to win, pretty much. I could have come second, I think, as well. Third wasn't enough. Actually, third would have just been enough, I think, yeah. So, if I finished on the podium and he crashed, that's basically what needed to happen. And it looks like that's exactly what's going to happen at the minute. So I'm very surprised what actually happened. I am eager to look at it on the replay, see what happened with Marquez. But it was such a strange sort of crash. He was on the inside. I think he then was like contact with somebody. I've not seen really anything from Rossi on any of the overtake notifications, so I don't know whether they collected Rossi in that. I think he might have collected Cal, I'm not too sure, which would be quite funny because last time he crashed at Assen, which was also in wet track conditions. He crashed with Crutchlow, of course. But other than that crash, really, and this one now, he's been very flawless all season. Obviously, he had the off day at Silverstone, where he wasn't quite as good, but the rest of the time, he was pretty fantastic. So as we go down towards the final corner, and for the penultimate time, we're getting ready to start the final lap of the race, the final lap of the penultimate race of the season. In the lead, will this take us up to 6 victories? I'm not 100% sure on that, but Morbidelli overtakes Rabat apparently. We've just done the fastest lap of the race, 2:02.2. So the lap where I actually start talking a bit more, I did the fastest lap, but we beat Mir's fastest lap, but Petrucci's just gone and beat ours. Obviously, with us being first, the track's always going to be better for the people behind, so the chances are we won't get the fastest lap, but I'll try for it on this last lap anyway. So, although there's Rossi battling with Alex Marquez. So Rossi is still in the race, but Alex Marquez is having a hell of a race to be battling for 6th place. I think he got 4th in Argentina, that was his best result, but he's not really came close to that since, so it's nice for him to be doing a bit better with 4.8 seconds in front. It's a little bit of a Marquez at Aragon-esque race, or myself at Misano. Sometimes you just get tracks where you can pull away so easily. Marquez gets that at every track, basically, where I'm not the quickest rider. He pulls away so easily. But yeah, I can't believe he crashed. I need to obviously have a look. It might not have been his fault, but I think he just tried to dive it up the... I think he got a bit squeezed out at the first corner just because I went in to the first corner a bit odd. So I think he had to sit up to sort of not get hit by me doing stoppies, which, you know, I'm more than entitled to go for the inside on the first corner. I didn't do anything wrong. But then I think he got trapped on the outside of a pack of AI and then just tried to launch it back up the inside and just crashed into them, I think. That's what it looked like, but we'll have to obviously have a look on the replay at the end of the race. Here we go then, through turn 13, the penultimate turn, and there's just a short, well, that's actually quite a long straight, I don't know why I was going to say short straight, but then there's just a straight down to the last corner. Obviously, a very narrow, I actually quite like the last corner. You can brake a lot later for it than you think you can, because even if you're going in a bit wide, it's not the end of the world, so we're going to miss the racing on a little bit, but then you can pivot it, get back on the power at the last corner, then coming up towards the line, we're going to win here in Malaysia on the Tech 3 KTM. What's the time going to be? 2:01.5 on the last lap. I think that'll be the fastest lap, but Marquez not scoring. What's happened in this race? What? Alex Marquez has got second, Jean Mir third apparently, Petrucci fourth, Morbidelli fifth, Nakagami sixth, seventh for Bagnaia, eighth for Rabat, ninth for Miller, 10th for Zarco, 11th for Espargaro, 12th for Binder. So that's both the Tech 3, not the Tech 3, the Red Bull KTMs in the points, I think, for the first time. Lecuona 30th, Smith 14th, Leishswager 50th, 16th for Oliveira, 17th for Rins. It's bugged out. It's pushed all of the front runners down out of the order, and it was Crutchlow he collided with. But yeah, some sort of bug has happened where it's put Rins, Dovizioso, Quartararo, Vinales and Rossi at the back, 2 minutes behind, even though they were up near the front. So that's definitely changed things a little bit. So basically none of the front runners scoring points, with Alex Marquez getting second, but he's definitely picked up the pieces for Repsol Honda where they needed it anyway. I'm surprised with Jack Miller in 9th. That means he was really far down. He was in like 15th place. He was only going to get the last point. But it's nice to see that both my teammates have finally got something. So in the championship then, obviously after that crash for Marc Marquez, he's only 15 points in the lead now. Fabio Quartararo 136 points behind. Obviously Dovizioso 77. That's not changed or anything like that because of... But all the top 8 in the championship except me didn't score points in that race. So none of those gaps have changed. Danilo Petrucci moves up a position ahead of his replacement at the factory Ducati team, Jack Miller. And Alex Marquez moves ahead of Morbidelli. Bagnaia moves ahead of Zarco. And Rabat moves ahead of Espargaro. So we need to have a look where my teammates are. So Brad Binder actually moves ahead of Oliveira. But Lecuona's actually picked up 14 points over the course of this season. Didn't even realise that's quite nice. So in the team's championship then, obviously we actually took a massive chunk out of the Monster Energy team because neither of their riders scored. They got given a glitch where they didn't get put in... They got put 2 minutes behind for some reason, so that's pretty strange. So it's allowed us to catch a massive chunk up to them. So we're only 13 points down now. Now, I don't think I'm going to outscore their whole team by 13 points in the next race, but you never know. It could happen if the same sort of glitch happens once again. But it happened to Miller once before at the Kimi ring, but it was only Miller, and his position kept dropping every lap as well. It didn't just happen at the end of the race, so I've no idea what's happened there. But the Real Aventia team then have moved up ahead of the LC Honda Idemitsu team, although that is an only one rider team. And looking at the Constructors' Championship now then, we've actually got second in the bag. We can't lose it now. And Honda have won the Constructors' Championship as well. I don't know if they had previously, but they have now. They've got a 40-point lead with only 25 points up for grabs, so they've won the Constructors' Championship, so they can change that 24 MotoGP Constructors' Championships to 25. We're now 35 points clear of Ducati, so we can't lose that. So that's nice. We've got the second position in the Constructors' Championship, just like I wanted then. So let's have a look at a Marquez crash, the crash between Marquez and Crutchlow. So once again, those two crashing. I imagine HRC are not going to be too happy about that. So we'll have a look at the replay then here and have a look what happened between those two riders. So if we look from the TV replay cam first, then you can see Marquez on the inside. He's right behind me, he just loses the front, and he just takes out Crutchlow. So actually, I'd blamed Crutchlow for that, but that was totally Marquez just losing the front and taking them both out. So this is on board with Marquez, and he got pushed wide a little bit by Crutchlow. You can see he's got on the inside. He's lost the front. His bike slid out from underneath him, and he's just collected poor old Cal Crutchlow there. So Cal Crutchlow has not been too lucky in these collisions. Obviously, he got caught up in the Rossi one, I think, back at Jerez. This is on board with Marquez then in slow-mo. He's on the inside, washes out the front. His bike slides, already in neutral, of course, and then, oh, poor old Crutchlow just gets clattered into. So that's two expensive Hondas down in the grass. So if we have a look what happened then. So Marquez just going in actually a little bit hot anyway. And oh, it wasn't me that forced him wide at all. It was Crutchlow just sort of hit into him. So actually Crutchlow started the whole thing. And then Marquez loses the front on the inside, just absolutely clatters into Cal Crutchlow. So that was a really weird chain of events there. So if we slow it down again, you can see Marquez on the inside. Quartararo sticking his nose. So Quartararo was actually lucky to not get collected in that. Or he did get hit, but he didn't actually crash. But there you go, that is both of those Hondas down, and then obviously there was that glitch where they just all got put 2 minutes behind. So this has been a really wacky race. To be honest, a crash for Marquez once again, which has only happened once this season, so a very uncharacteristic crash there from Mark. And also, something else has only happened once this season as far as I recall, although it might have happened to Aleix once, I think I might have mentioned at the time, I'm not 100% sure. But the top 7 basically all getting put 2 minutes behind, so I have no idea what's gone on in this race. A little bit buggy there, but these things do happen. Obviously the crashes, they're not buggy, that's just meant to happen then. So we'll head into Parc Fermé and then the career hub then now, and we'll end off the episode there.
Undoubtedly, it was a perfect day for him. In addition to the victory, his position also earns him 25 priceless championship points.
So here we are in Parc Fermé, and it just seems so weird to be in here with Alex Marquez and Joan Mir. Just that glitch. I was expecting Dovizioso and Rins. I think Rins actually must have managed to beat Dovizioso, so it would have actually been a Suzuki second place, but it's so strange that they've been put 2 minutes behind. That's the thing that baffles me more. Like, the crash is normal, like that does happen from time to time, but I don't know why they've been put 2 minutes behind.
We're picking up again live from the track where the top 3 riders have just arrived on the podium for the awards ceremony. Each Grand Prix makes its own story, but these guys will definitely be ones to keep an eye on in races to come.
So here we are then. Hervé Poncharal isn't there to pick up the trophy this time, it's just some random mechanic. So we're shaking hands with both Alex Marquez and Joan Mir on the podium then. An interesting podium. We've had a couple of weird races this season, but this has definitely had to be the weirdest one. A KTM on the top step, Alex Marquez on the second step, and Joan Mir on the bottom step. But it was a good race, it was an easy victory, and apparently Aleix Espargaro's bike is stopped on the grid. I think that happened once before, back in like Silverstone. I think one of the bikes was stopped on the line. But yeah, Aleix Espargaro's bike looked like it was stopped on the grid there, so that's a little bit weird. But that weekend then we gained 10,850 reputation points, so that must be the maximum we can gain, which is actually less than we used to gain in Moto 2, funnily enough. That's with a pole position and, of course, a race win. I think if you get direct access to Q2, you probably get a few extras as well, but we don't do free practice. We haven't done free practice this season, so that's why. So the total weekend credits then, as we always get, 32,863, which takes up to 710,980 credits. So then nothing's done and there's no notifications or anything like that, so that's where we'll end off the episode there. I keep saying it, but it's such a crazy episode. I have no idea what's happened there. It started off all normal. Basically, on the run into the first corner, I squeezed Marquez a little bit, then he went round the outside. Then all of a sudden he's sort of diving up the inside. It's just taking a tight line into second corner. He actually wasn't dive bombing like I thought he was. He just took to the front, takes out Crutchlow, so it's totally his own mistake there, taking out Crutchlow. I'm thinking, oh okay, this is a good race, we're gaining lots of points on Marquez. Then when we go over the line, everyone's 2 minutes behind. It's so weird. But I hope you have enjoyed that video then, guys. It was obviously a crazy race. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Hope you're all staying safe, and I shall see you in the next video.